Hey lovelies, welcome to another episode of The Narrative. Today's video we'll be talking about the new trends happening in the UK. It is called sex for C.O.S, sex for rent. Okay, a lot of things are happening, and just sit down, relax, and let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is Faith Ojone, and on this channel I talk about ways you can travel abroad and settle abroad. I share resources with you on how you can get started, and I share latest updates concerning the UK, latest immigration policy, what's happening, the changes as an immigrant. You'll want to stay updated with the new changes happening. And I also share story time called The Narrative. If this is the kind of content you like, hit the subscribe button down below, turn on your notification bell so you do not miss any of my videos. Without saying so much, let's get started. Recently, the cost of living in the UK went up. They now call it the cost of living crisis. A lot of things are expensive, getting accommodation is hard, rents are now doubled. Today's video is proudly sponsored by Amber Student Accommodation. Are you a student looking for accommodation in the UK? Are you coming to study in the UK anytime soon and you're wondering how you can go about your accommodation search? Then look no further, because Amber Student offers a wide range of affordable and luxurious and beautiful accommodations to fit your student needs. From single bedrooms to studio apartments, they have it all. The accommodation is mostly fully furnished and equipped with everything that you need as a student to make your stay comfortable and enjoyable. Some of the accommodation have gym, high-speed Wi-Fi, laundry facilities, and a study table for you, so many other things for you to enjoy. They have accommodation in different locations throughout the UK and not really far from most universities. So wherever university you have, you are sure that Amber Student will have an accommodation close to your university. So Amber Student Accommodation makes it easy for you to find the perfect home base for your study. What are you waiting for? Book your student accommodation with Amber Student today and make most of your student experience in the UK come to life. I'm going to leave the link to where you can book your Amber Student Accommodation in the description box below. Do not forget to use my referral link to book your Amber Student Accommodation. Thank you, Amber Student, for sponsoring today's video. The amount of money you pay for rent 2-3 years back is doubled now. So houses rent are expensive, and the whole migration to the UK, a lot of people want to move to the UK, the desperation. So many people are willing to do so many things, I mean unthinkable things, just to achieve that. Before I talk about the sex for rent, let me briefly talk about the C.O.S. So I've heard stories about migrants who have to now have sexual relationship with employers so that they can be offered certificates of sponsorship. The deal is that they are going to be like your sexual partners for as long as they issue them C.O.S. I'm like, what? I don't know at which point that the government is going to do something about this C.O.S thing being linked to employer, because I remember the advisory migration committee, they have sort of investigated situation happening, and they felt like the UK government should create like a different body, like an umbrella body that will be in charge of C.O.S, so that C.O.S will not be directly connected to employers. That's to say that if an employer should issue an employee C.O.S, the employee will not be tied to the employer directly, but instead to the body that oversees the whole C.O.S thing. I don't know what they are doing towards it, but I know that the government right now is cracking down on employers, and they are being strict towards C.O.S thing. I recently made a video where I talk about the recent changes to the C.O.S. If you've not seen it, I'll leave the link up here. Now employers need to report some things to the Home Office concerning the people they are sponsoring. So let's take for example, if an employee will be working from home or hybrid, they need to inform the Home Office now on their C.O.S compliance document, like inform the Home Office that okay, our employee will be working 2 times in the office, 3 days at home, home. I hope that works, but a lot of things are happening, especially in the care sector. See that care sector, I mean, a lot of things are going on. I can't go right into it right now, but let's talk about the sex for rent, because this one is very interesting, and this is between a migrant and a landlord here in the UK. So this video is not to judge anyone at all, but it's just to keep us informed of the things happening, and let's talk about it so you're informed. The story is about a landlord in Birmingham who was convicted of offering free rent in exchange for sexual favors from his tenant. So a young woman named Jane, I'm just gonna give them like a fake name, okay, who just recently moved to the UK. She's definitely on a skilled worker visa. She moved to the UK on a work visa, but getting an apartment was very difficult. So when she found this apartment, and she was super excited to move into her new apartment and excited about her new job and her new home, of course, the landlord, John, another fake name, who is welcoming and friendly, offering to help her with her bags and showing her around the apartment with support. You know some buildings in the UK, some of the landlords still live in the house. They just rent out some of the rooms to single tenants. She is single, she's not married, she just moved to the UK on a work visa, and she just needed one room apartment where she can, stay and go to work and all of that. Her landlord was living with her in the same house, so he just rented one of the rooms out to her while he lives in one of the building. Okay, the landlord is so nice to her, always helping her out and supporting her. But things take another turn when John asked Jane to perform sexual acts in exchange for free rent. She won't have to pay for rent. So at first, Jane is like shocked and doesn't know what to do. She was confused, like, sometimes when you come to the UK, like things like this happen in the UK. She's new in the city. She doesn't want to lose the house because finding another apartment would be so difficult. So she felt like if she said no to the guy, he will want to kick her out or something. She decided to say yes, due to the fact of getting accommodation is hard and it's expensive, and due to the current cost of living crisis, so she reluctantly said yes to Mr. John. Jane didn't know what she got herself into. As time goes by, John's requests became more frequent and more aggressive. So Jane feels trapped and helpless, unsure of how to escape the situation. She knows it's wrong, but she can't afford to pay rent on her own, and she feels like she has no other options. She couldn't bear it anymore. He's now demanding for sex every time and even being aggressive about it. I'm sure after not paying rent for some months, she sees how more money she could save, more money she could make, and also how difficult it is getting an apartment. So she kept on with it. After weeks of enduring John's advances, Jane decided to take action. She reported the situation to the authorities and they began an investigation. The police found evidence of the agreement between John and Jane, including text messages and emails. So this is why it is very important to keep every single information. Most times when I'm dealing with someone, I prefer email. Send me an email so there will be a track record, or text message so that we can trace everything. Usually it's important when you're dealing with your landlord or anything important, professional, always keep the trail of the email or text message. Don't do anything on the call. If you want to keep proof, always use email. Anyway, they found all those proof on their conversation through text and email. So John got arrested and he was charged with sexual exploitation. The trial was very tense, with Jane coming out and recounting the horrific events that took place in the apartment, her experience with John and all the aggressiveness. The John defense lawyer argued that it was a consensual agreement between two adults, but the prosecutor was like, yeah, you found it consensual, but it's actually a manipulative and dangerous predator who took advantage of a vulnerable young woman. I mean, the courts felt that John took advantage of Jane because she was vulnerable. And in the UK, vulnerability does not necessarily mean that you have to be a disabled person or you don't have support. You can be fine, but someone can still take advantage of you based on your situation. That's what the court finally decided, that John took advantage of her because she's an immigrant in the UK. Getting accommodation was difficult and she's single, no family member, so he took advantage of her. And John was found guilty of the charges against him and he was sentenced to 7 years in prison. And Jane Jane is finally able to move on from her traumatic experience and start a new chapter in her life. It must be very traumatic. This story is a reminder that sexual exploitation can happen in any situation where there is power imbalance. It is important to speak up and report any instance of abuse or exploitation. No matter how difficult it seems, I hope that this story shed light on the importance of speaking up against sexual exploitation, and also people who are going into it, they should know the consequences that come with it, because it's too adult and we agreed on this. Don't feel like it's normal. Okay, it is not. People have reached out to me about companies in the UK who are actually offering to issue C.O.S to them, but in return they have to have sexual arrangements. You, the employer, that feel that this is an agreement between two adults and it is fine, if you're watching this video, I hope you know that it is not fine. You are manipulating and you're exploiting this person, and if they report you, you're going to go to prison. So let this video should sound as a warning to anyone out there that wants to exploit vulnerable people and take advantage of them because they're in a place of power. And if you are in this situation, don't be afraid to speak up. You can speak up against this. So guys, we have come to the end of this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think Jane would have done differently? Have you heard similar situation like this, and what are your thoughts about it? If you're yet to subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.